Oh. Matthew. I'm going to relax. I'm going to relax. What do it? When you want to go to it, relax. Don't do it. When you want to go, whoa. What's that weird? What's going on there? Oh, that's the light ball. Oh, right. Okay. My light ball is, my ball is reflecting weird thing onto the projection screen because it's picking the light up at a different angle in the room. Just move it around a little bit because I'm not ready to put that disco ball up. Little disco ball. Saturday Night Fever. Da 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 da. Not ready to put that thing up yet. Only, oh gosh. Okay, just relax. Just relax. Oh, trying to relax. Can't sit down for a bit. Things around. Come on now, G. Yeah. Hey, Mr. DJ, what's going on? Wow, very impressed with that microscope. Oh, it's on. What's it? I've got. It's on the. What's it? Yeah, so I'll switch over to HDMI. Source input. Yeah, switch that to HDMI number 1.
What does that mean? When my examination is complete, all carbon units will be reduced to data patterns.
Within you are the memory patterns of a certain carbon unit. If I can help you to revive those patterns.
A night station stored here with.
I need Spock on the.
I'm losing Starfleet. Interference from V'ger.
Kirk unit, disclose the information. Why has the creator not responded?
No. Secure all stations. Clear the bridge.
Wow.
I'm losing Starfleet. Interference from V'ger.
Kirk unit, disclose the information. Why has the creator not responded?
No. Secure all stations. Clear the bridge.
Wow.
Stations. Clear the bridge. Clear the bridge. Clear the bridge.
Clear the bridge, Captain. I do every 5 minutes.
Captain. I'd like to go along.
Mr. Sulu, you have the call.
Wow. 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 That's not too bad. Wow. Wow. Hello. Hello. Wow. 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 In a massage, you use your little magical gloves, your little magical gloves there. You're a little magician, aren't you? Magician. Mm. Wow. Channel B. V'Ger. V'Ger. Dong. Wow. Wow. That's enormous energy power, that, isn't it, magic? Wow. It doesn't sound that, though I can use Dolby Stereo for the original signature sound for the mono matrix. The DSU is not too bad, even though it's doing something to stereoizing the way it's just um, the effects or music or such is moving around, panning, and pretty open. It's I can hear it down the sides of the experimental overhead. I hear it in the back of the room, depending on where the phasing of the signals and everything is going. And 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 the crosstalk, the way to try and reject, like there's a dialogue pan when it goes to the Enterprise bridge, and it's panned over to the stage right, but it minimizes, it's clamping down to try and create what do you call it now? I forgot. Oh my bloody hell, I forgot what it's called. Like a negative, like an anti phase. It cancels out. That's it. Cancels out the signal, so you don't notice it so obnoxiously in the surrounding. Think, oh crikey, listen to that crosstalk leaking through. Um, it kind of clamps down, reduces some of the crosstalk, and it's not too bad. Apart from DSU sounds a little bit digitized sometimes, where I know what to look, where I know where to listen for, and I can hear this sort of sound. You don't hear that on the traditional Pro Logic decoder because it's analog. I like all these split lens diopter shots. All these split lenses. Wow, there's so many split lens diopter shots. Wow. 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 That's brilliant. I mean, like the DSU gives a 424 matrix. Wow. Kind of. Hmm. It is a bit of an improvement. Wow. I can hear a little bit of the squeak where Mr. Spock opens the panel. And I can only hear it. It's so tiny. It's like this, you know, this sound versus everything else that's mixing and moving around and such and such. It's minimal, but when everything else is playing, you don't notice the crosstalk because you notice, oh yeah, it's up there and this round there, up, down, bloody hell. Whew. And I think the echo effect is pretty good because they're in some sort of, I don't know, some sort of chamber, but not really because it's only like a dip in the Vija complex where they're walking along and then dips down into, and then the Voyager probe is down in this dip and void or such, and they do realize that, you know, that the Vija thing could just suddenly turn off, boom, the artificial atmosphere, and bam, that you know, beam us up quickly, you know. Of course, there's an artificial gravity there also, isn't there? Otherwise, they'd be floating. Oh yeah, where Mr. Spock puts this little thing on top of the Voyager probe. It's only heard as a little, but it's a bit more of a click on stage left when listening. Because I've only got the surrounds all running, just all the screen channels are turned off. Wow. Wow. There's so much going on. You know, I need more below surround. Definitely need more below surround, especially where the performers sometimes are looking up this way and then they're looking downward. Definitely need a lot of, definitely. But it's not practical in this room to put speakers all over the floor because I'll be able to see the speakers. I'll be climbing over the speakers, walking over them. It'd be a pain in the arse to move them out of the way to vacuum clean the carpet. Oh, crikey. But definitely below surround is definitely key to the last part of the element of the, and that's it. There's plenty of ways. There's plenty of ways to do manufacturer or DIY a below surround speaker using like the little tiny Dayton exciters that I have. They're only about that size, and you can stick them onto it's experimental piece of MDF plastics. I'm not sure about metal or something because I would imagine it's going to make a ringing resonant noise, which would be a bit of a problem. It's DIYable, so it's experimentable, and you could fit those into the floor, and then there'll be just a little Dayton exciter that's only so thin. They make several models of the Dayton exciters, several models, and this is only one of them. So it's not very thick, but once you've got it onto a surface, you know, and then you could fit these in the wooden floor, and it's going to generate a sound. Of course, the problem there with a single one of these would only generate so much SPL level. So when you've got a whole array fitted in the floor, yeah, I could modify this room. I could modify the room and have a wooden floor on the concrete, but it'll only have to be so thick. It wouldn't have to be that thick or whatever, or this thick, depending on the traditional use of a loudspeaker, which is fairly deep. And then, of course, that takes up the floor headroom from floor to ceiling. I don't want to compress it, so I'm like claustrophobic. Yeah, the exciter. Because if I can use them in a cinema seat and it works and makes the cinema seat a speaker, then that could be used for a below surround. Of course, it's got to be an array. You got no excuse because your floor would be boom and it would be clustered. So it would emit sound coming from below. And it should be very thoroughly uniform. It'd be brilliant. And the other problem there is the only other problem there is the adhesive, because it'd be stuck under, upside down, and there's a bit of weight there, so there's gravity. And these things, it does move. It's like a piston, like in any other sort of voice coil convention. It moves. It'll also provide bass, so you'll be able to feel it in the floor as well as sound. And depending on the material that's used, it will produce high frequency. These are brilliant. These are brilliant devices, and of course, the power handling and so forth. I'm surprised Dayton or such, they don't make a slightly larger, wider version that keeping the slim profile, or more or less. Yeah, brilliant. I could do that. I could convert part of this room and then I probably wouldn't have to use the JBL control ones, because these things will be completely and of course they cost so much, and then of course you got to simulate the calculation of, because you really practically the whole might as well go up as far as up to the front of the room and then to the back cover. Otherwise, what's the point? You can't just put a couple of these on and expect, oh wow, that sounds great, because then I hear sound there, I hear sound. You want it uniform. Otherwise, you just hear hot spots. And then, of course, all the wiring and so forth. Until the day comes when there's discrete below surround, where it could be utilized multiple driver channels, multiple channels. Yeah. And like I say, yeah. This Dayton Exciter, I'm not quite fond on, because it's got like these little spider things in it, and this was stuck on this seat that one time as experimental, and the little spider legs things, they broke off because they're very flimsy. So I've got different exciters for the other seats. They're totally different. And one is fitted inside this seat, literally fitted inside. The others are just stuck onto the back of the seat. Like I say, even when you got that on a piece of cardboard, you'd be surprised on the high frequency. Anything going above 8,000 kilohertz, 10,000 kilohertz, sine wave tones, exactly, sine wave tones. I can hear up to, oh gosh, I forgot what frequency it is. It could have been 15,000 kilohertz or something for this device. And it was only a short distance away from me. So it was only a short distance away from me on a piece of cardboard. And I was thinking, wow, listen to that high frequency. I was thinking, unreal, on the sine wave tone. And of course, if so, like designing a below surround floor, if I'm doing it, I'd have of course, I'd have to put a piece of timber on the floor that's not too deep, and I'd have to make it into squares, because each one of these exciters will be fitted with a square of MDF or whatever material, and then screwed down into the floor onto the wooden frames, and then all the sections placed in, and then turn it on, and oh yeah, I know what it would sound like. It would knock my socks off. It would knock my socks off. But these small versions only handle, I think some handle 20 and some handle 40 watts, and I think 40 is the most. These things got impedance as well. So if I wanted to put two of those exciters for a piece of wood, a square piece of section, and that's all the sections are fitted down, I could put two of them and then wire them in parallel, or such, to take it from 4 ohm to take it to an 8 ohm impedance. And the more of it, the more of a feel vibration I will feel, particularly when your feet are on the floor. It won't be totally ideal for every film soundtrack. Unlike, say, when I go on a bus, I know where the seats are fitted, I know exactly how the seats are fitted because I'm looking around. I can see how the seats are fitted. I know basically rough idea of the skeleton frame on that bus would look like, and then all the rest of it is put round and bolted and secured. So you feel great vibration on a bus. Wow. But if that was mixed or engineered, so you go, like, you hear all the other sound and you feel everything down below, and you think, wow, that almost felt like a bus ride. Apart from there'll be some things that probably have to be looked into to create a proper jolt, but you're not going to get that with these things stuck on the floor, because otherwise the floor thing, the sections would have to move like a suspension, like a pumping up and down sort of thing. No, that would be a bit of a gimmick, because that's not how it is on a bus. With water substance, you could be in a little dinghy, and you'd feel the waves moving underneath the plastic. You'd feel some sort of, without necessarily getting wet, and you'd feel this, wobbly sort of thing. Yeah. That will be very hard to do in a sound mixing, to create that sort of because you'd have to make the floor sections actually move, and then probably everyone would start thinking, oh, I feel seasick. I've got to leave this room. It'd probably be something like that if you can get the illusion of the psychoacoustic of the, as well as the motion. It's like we're getting bored with reality and we want to be taken into a fantasy world. Oh, I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't mind that. But waves, water is that's a tricky thing. That is. But if it's doable to do an approximating, yeah. I might think about doing this. So I've got to get some. This means I've got to take up all the carpet tiles. If not, I've got to dismantle all the cinema seating and start from scratch, build it, and then put the cinema seating back in. I'm not really in the best of health these days, so I'll probably have to see if I can get someone that could do woodwork or something not too expensive. Of course, it will be in some parts, because you'd have to pay for labour, and I'll supply the parts because I got to certify the materials to see if they're approvable for the project. MDF, I think, might be good, but depending on the thickness of the MDF, I don't think much sound might be audible, because these things would only be really responsive to something that's a little bit thin. So it's trial and error testing with materials until one material or a few materials are approved, or I will approve for the use. Otherwise, most people will think this and that, and you got to check the amount of sound level that's going to come through and see what trade-off there is, or what trade-ons you can get and what trade-offs you get, because one thing is, wouldn't want these to overheat or be overdriven, though that won't happen, because I would ensure that the whole system would have some sort of way of having an audio limiter, so they won't get damaged. But get the most max of sound output, and yeah, like I say, it's trial and error, because these are DIY. It's just trial and error. This is, it's project. They're just project things. Undoing all the seating, and of course I want to get everything back in place at the very least. Well, it's planning it. And plans don't usually go to schedule. Plans always get deviated because something would occur, and you got to modify it. So it's all a case of measuring first, measuring and measuring. And how thick. Tape measures out there, but roughly. got to get a little so maybe at the most, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 inches, because, well, actually the wood beams, depending on how thick the beams are, that's all got to be calculated, measured and calculated. Won't be too deep. I don't think it'll be any greater than 3 inches. I think that's about 3 inches, I think. I don't think it'd be any greater than that. And of course, yeah, this whole thing will be uniform underneath the cinema seating. Around here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because this will be all ripped out. All this will be ripped out. If I rip it out, all this circular thing here will be ripped out, and I could redo it. I could probably build it myself, but it's better to get someone to help me, because it'd be too exhausting work, and I want to get it all done. Literally, if I can get the whole most bulk of it done in a day, it's doable to all get it done in a day. So seating out, the seat riser thing ripped out, carpet tiles ripped out, get everything laid down and how it's got to be laid down and screwed and put together. So it's all got to be measured, and so wood will go in certain places, and then build the square. So there's squares. So on the other pieces are screwed down with the exciters, and they're screwed down to the floor. The seat riser's all built up. That doesn't take long to build, for crying out loud. Most people, for a small room, crying out loud, couple of hours at the most. Once you got all the materials assembled, a couple of hours at the least. It's not like building an actual cinema auditorium where that would take probably a week or 2. But something simple for a room, couple of hours at the most. And then once that's all done, and yeah, I've overlooked the other problem: where do and how the carpet tiles go down. Because the carpet tile, if they're laid onto the surface of the below surround flooring, that carpet tiling, okay, like I say, it's got to be all tested and checked with prototype to see, because don't want to over push these little units. Yeah, that's going to be the problem, the carpet tiles, because that's going to cause that's going to absorb or muffle certain middle and high frequency sounds. Yeah. That part's going to be the trickiest part. I'm computing in my mind at the moment, because I'm relatively what if I had so I've got a wooden floor, and then find some way so that this won't be stuck to the MDF underneath the floor, and then the carpet tile on top. Or if it was flush and then stuck to the carpet tile. It would probably work, but the other problem would be if I'm walking around, or if I have guests around and they walk around, Yeah. Though it'd only be a very small area, won't be wide, you know. So you put your foot, you know, in the whole thing. But la di da. I think that sort of thing would be, yeah. That's I've got to test that. I've got some extra carpet tile I could test on. Below surround. I have to give that some thinking. It's not like someone else can come along and say, "Oh, I know how to do that." Yeah, but do you know sound? So, okay, if you know that, got to work together, because fitting it to I could easily fit this to a carpet tile and blah blah blah. Yeah, it'd be fabricating the rest of the MDF, and well, that's simple. Just get the tools and do the cutting and such. There's with this exciter, there's that's where this part here has got to be stuck to the surface, and I guess I could live with a laminated floor, but not in this THX cinema. No way. No way. It's got to be no echo reflection in this room. Otherwise, the laminated floor is going to be partly an issue with reflections, and it's going to have some strange. Although it'd be manageable to clean it easy. Yeah, I think Dayton should make a larger version. I think these versions have been around for quite a few years now. I think they should make one that is not that diameter, but a little bit wider, but still flat, and still can put out and of course it probably might have a little bit more handling power, thus meaning a little bit more dynamic range. And of course, there's the other thing when this whole thing's if it was all put together, sine wave testing, and how many does it produce any harmonics, and how high are those harmonics? So you got the fundamental frequency, and the harmonics would be little things down here, 1 2 3 4 whatever. And it's like minimizing and calculating. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Because I know it's great with having little JBL control ones around, to do a below surround in the room, but then it's not fully uniform. They're gaps. So depending on where the speakers are located and where I'm or where a listener is seated, it does sound diffused. It does sound a little bit diffused with the below surround, until walking around the room, and then there's a speaker there, there's a speaker there, and then in between me there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. It's the hole in the bucket effect, and I'd rather not have a hole in the bucket effect. I don't know how well it would be, but how well this would work. But it's trial and error, but it should knock my socks off. Just how many of these would I need? I know the room is 9, roughly. Well, I've got to measure from the skirting board, measure from the skirting board over to the other side, and from the back of the room, and go so far up to the front. Would I have to lift my sub bass speakers off the floor? Would I want this whole thing going? Not necessarily. I could go so far up and then stop, go so far up in the room, and then don't go any further. It would be too bad if they can make a carpet tile into an actual speaker for the application purpose for below surround. I think it would be early days and trial and error, and I think the sensitivity, like if the sensitivity is going to be say like if I stick that onto a surface and a surface cardboard, a thin piece of MDF or plastic, even plastic, sheets of plastic that's very thin. I think these work on glass as well, like glass windows, and that's usually about that thick. Average common home glass windows is only about that thick. Crikey. You can even stick it on your head. On a speaker. You'd feel the vibrate, and it would be not very good. Oh gosh, yeah, like say even something like this piece of plastic. Boom, stick it on that. I'd hear good high frequencies. And of course, this plastic, yeah, I guess it will vibrate, resonate. There's no stickiness on this at the moment. It's lost the adhesive stickiness. I've got to use a surface spray glue and spray all that, and then stick it, hold it there for a while, and then it anchors on. But wow, these are brilliant. One person did try using these for overhead surround speakers on pieces of thin MDF or something. I think it was very thin MDF, and then just basically tied them up to the ceiling. Yeah, you can make you don't have to have it pinpoint, or you can make it a big, large array, and then because you've got a lot of them, and yeah, I like it when I'm holding that there, and then hang on, is it there? That's it, and I push it. I can feel the springing in it. Yeah, I can feel the spring flex in my. You ain't heard anything yet. You haven't heard anything yet. So I might do it. Might do it this year. I might do it. I won't have to use a conventional speaker because it'll take up too much depth. Even if it's a shallow profile speaker, very shallow JBL, whatever, it'd be a shallow, but it's going to take up too much depth. something like that almost. I think a shallow profile because they're not too deep. But these, yeah, I can minimize that. Oh yeah, look at the USS Enterprise. Yeah, below surround. That's where the Enterprise is. It's at a low angle on the screen. And the warp engines, basically those warp engines are partly, most of those warp engines are below me. And some part of the sound there and up here, there, and wow. You get that like this little star effect thing moving around. It's like, wow. Wow, all these colors spiraling, moving around. So, yeah. Wow. So you'd get things that are going overhead, down the sides, below you. You know, back then, you know, they could have made multi-track with below, surround, and overhead. Oh, it's all doable. It's all doable. Wow. Wow. Whoosh. Whoosh. Yeah. And as well as below surround, you know, say a movie like Cliffhanger, that would have to be completely remixed from scratch to create an illusion like, bloody hell, you feel like you're out there on that guideline, that cable, during the opening of the movie, and it feel like, bloody hell, you know, you want to create a psychoacoustic sort of sound to make you lift your feet up because you feel like there's nothing there, sort of thing. You got to create a sound of air and wind moving around, like you're like between two mountains. You know, there's a mountain there, and you're on a guideline, and got to make it seem like so. Like I heard some similar sounds in other movies where it creates a psychoacoustic effect where I can't even remember what bloody movie it was. It was years ago. It created an illusion that made me freak, you know, and thinking it's only an illusion, but it was a good effect. So obviously someone wanted to try and, you know, but it's not all the audience are going to get, you know, notice it, you know. I know there's so many things around in science and technology, like the piece of glass speaker that's directional. It's got low sensitivity output. It's got low sensitivity, but it's like a piece of like this. But when you look at it with a special, when you look at it with, say, like with a microscope or such, it's made of special type of. Oh my goodness, it's mind-boggling. It's as if it came from Area 51 alien encounters. It's mind-boggling, and it looks like a piece of glass, transparent, and yet it puts sound focused literally to your ears, and if you move it the opposite direction, the sound goes the other way, and you don't hear it. But it can't do low frequency. It can't do anything like. It's only as good for, say, maybe like middle range and to high frequency. They say 20,000 kilohertz it can do. However, oh gosh. Also, I'll be thinking, I wonder if it produces any harmonic frequencies, and what. Yeah, but it's like it's not cheap. It's a couple of hundred pounds or so just for something about that size. I think it is roughly about that size. And they sell them as single. I think they don't sell them like stereo pair. So you got to buy, yeah. So early days. There's another thing I've been thinking about. These stupid Samsung with this stupid bloody, what the bloody hell is it called, with JBL, Harman and Samsung, and they want to build a bloody video screen wall, for crying out loud. Wouldn't that video screen wall need occasional cleaning with a cloth? I mean, it's going to get dirty or smeared or whatever. It's inevitable. I mean, unlike a projection screen, which occasionally needs cleaning itself, but the light source is only coming from one point, and bam. I think those Samsung things are a complete, utter waste of time and waste of money, because they're made up in sections. You've got to put it together, and I've seen some of those in some home theater demo rooms or whatever, and I can see where the video camera is looking at it. I can see, this panel here looks a little bit flawed, because I can see roll bars or some glitches, because the that's pretty smart, or any other camera, because our eye won't register it unless it is completely and utterly knackered, and then we can see it with our eye. But these devices can see, all right, that's a little flawed there, and that shouldn't, that's probably waiting. There's probably something waiting there to happen, and it's going to malfunction. And you got to remove it and put something else. Oh, crikey, pain in the ass. It's simple to have a video projector and the speakers behind the screen, because how the heck are you supposed to bounce sound? That's like me pointing some JBL Control 1 at the OLED, because it's the same similar principle. The only thing you're going to get is middle high frequencies. You ain't going to get low frequencies. It's a complete. It doesn't work, and I've not even heard it, but I don't need to, because I've had sound reflecting on this. I can have a loudspeaker put on the floor, play pink noise, and then move it around until my ear picks up the psst, as well as the microphone to pick it up. So if I had, because it will reflect the sound, and that's why if I were to put this on that part of the area surface, then would become reflective, versus and I could reflect certain sounds from the screen channel, as well as it's also got to be angled, so the sound from a certain speaker will hit the angle and then ping like that angle, and then it come it back at this angle. Kind of. I think that's how you used to do thunder sound effects in films. Big large sheets or radio plays, I think they were. I think early days they get some large sheet, kind of create this thunder sound effect. It's interesting, those radio shows. And all the Foley, they got all the things there, and they make all the sounds, and got the people doing the voices, and I used to like those radio shows. Wow, they still do them, I think, today, but I kind of prefer them back in the 70s and 80s. They were interesting. Yeah. So, Exciter. And there's really nothing to get excited about. Though I would definitely be excited. I just want to hear it. I just want to hear it in my room. I want to hear the proper version. I mean, it's fine with the speakers over here, and they're all connected to the height overhead, height number 1, and height number 2, height number 3, and so you can go on, so on and so on and so on. So not just hearing sound up there, I'm hearing it down on the floor, and though it's matrixed partly, I doubt a Trinov can even do that out the box. That is literally, can a Trinov do matrix below surround? No. No, it can't do it. You got to design it into the system, and then you got something there that's, oh wow. I mean, it's look at Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It's loaded with below surround. Look at all that. They're moving through it, and all this is moving below and down the sides and overhead. Yeah, you listen to it on an Atmos, it's just going to be on the side, a little bit occasionally on the overhead. Disappointment when it should be utilized the whole time. Where you put atmospheric sounds and whatever else going on, or not just atmospherics, but music, and have it individually and panning and moving from one speaker to another, like it's like the sound of it, the flow is moving rather than coming from an array of surround speakers, and it's just a static sound just coming from an array of speakers, which is not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, to have it flowing, gosh almighty. But I just listened to the Jerry Goldsmith score, and I can pick instruments, listen to certain instruments, and think, yeah, that instrument, the way that sound, that could pan below, or it could do something, maybe an instrument going over to create some wow harmony. But also the blow surround could be used. This is the tricky thing. Either go with same device for below surround, the walls, the ceiling, back wall, boom. Screen channels at the front. Yeah, see, it's a difficult thing because of the sensitivity. And then everything, and then all the speakers at the front, they've got to be rebalanced. You've got to rebalance everything. It's not that easy. It's bloody. Ugh. And then you think all that just to listen to a movie. At least making it a little bit more better than. Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah, this film is loaded. Every film is loaded with, particularly when it is something that you can associate yourself with. We have experienced this and that so many times, and below surround. You could mix footsteps. Yeah, footsteps. So when the footsteps are moving off screen, they're moving. It sounds like then the footsteps are moving across the floor. And if they have to go from the floor and then go upward, suddenly the footsteps can move from the screen channel, move across the floor, and it'll be like, oh yeah. And then suddenly those footsteps, depending on how something is filmed, depending on how long it keeps on screen, none of this quick jump, cut editing, for Christ's sake. How can you bloody mix sound to that, for crying out loud? It doesn't give an audience enough time to appreciate the art of the sound, because it's bloody jump editing all over the bloody show, for Christ's sake. That doesn't happen in reality, unfortunately. So it's like, yeah. So the sound could be going along the foot there, and then make it psychoacoustically sound like suddenly like footsteps are going up here, like up some stairs or something. So camera moves around and something, it sees a staircase or something, and then the camera angle changes around, and there's a staircase there, and then or it moves around or such very slowly, not jump editing, jumping all over the bloody show, for crying out loud. But and then create it is doable and possible. Trial and error, be kind of like a holographic sound. All it's doing with is mixing sound overhead and sound below, and creating a like an invisible staircase. The way I think, I don't know. I'd like to mix something like that, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to go about it, because it'd be trial and error, anti-phasing and polarity, and but it's possible, like I say, to put a speaker up there, a speaker on the floor, that's stereo, like two stereo speakers, boom, 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 yeah, and then just flip them around, whoosh, this way. So they're literally parallel, one on the floor, one up there, and then you just listen to the sound and then balance it with pink noise first. You don't just put some music on, balance it out with pink noise, get the angle and such, and then play some music, and then think, oh wow, because you got the center, you'd have a center phantom signal, and then you'd have panning sound, or yeah, oh yeah. There's two speakers over there, or speakers over that way. Panning, center phantom, shifting it, panning. Okay, go that way. I've only heard, really, realistically, almost one movie that almost had a holographic kind of dialogue panning sound. I think that was Terminator. Dreadful movie it is. Dreadful movie. Terminator. What was it called? Genesis. That's it. Genesis. Terminator Genesis. There's a scene in the movie where I thought, oh wow, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat effect. It was a dreadful movie, but not bad sound. Not bad at all. It had a good illusion in it. And I thought, oh wow, that's neat. I had a bit of echo and reverb in it or something, to create an echoey reverb sound of I think it was a bunker or some sort of chamber room or something. It had sort of like echo in it, and I thought, yeah, that was pretty neat effect. So it's pretty doable to do all that, rather than speakers just being, that's such outdated. You got to go on with, well, actually, it should have been going on decades ago. Should have been going on decades ago, not now, just because now, oh yeah, there's some new digital technology that can hold that amount of channel sound. But no, this should have been going on decades ago. And that would be very minimal sound channel outputs, though, dear. You just can't top real sound. You just can't top it. Gosh, how many laboratories are around? How many pet science projects are going on in a think tank acoustical sound laboratory? Oh my goodness, different materials being trial and error tested. Oh gosh. Because that speaker thing with the piece of glass, that's mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling. Bass shakers. Bass shakers are okay, and an actual bass shaker can play to high frequency, almost high frequency. Bass shaker doesn't necessarily have to play tactile, all this and that. It can play, but with some limitation. It does limitate when it gets up to it can't really actually do, I don't think anything above, really realistically, above 1 kilohertz. because I think well, with the bass shakers that I got, I tested them, but they seem to roll off. The frequency rolls off, drops off at a certain point. But putting bass shakers under a floor, not in this room because they're about that thick, and then that means the flooring would have to be something like that. So yeah, I'll see what I could do this year. See what I could do with this. See what I can. I'll tell you what's interesting. Go and get it. I'm going to grab one because I think I might get a few of them. Buy a few more of them because I do like playing around with them. You know, when I was in hospital, you know, it's not much to do. You know, you get patients that are gradually. I've started a little forum. You know, I started a little forum in the hospital because I start communicating with other patients, and then you know, but some of them very moody at night time when sleeping. I can understand that, and you got other nurses coming in, and there's talking with another patient, do blood tests, blood pressure, and so forth, and conversation going on, and then get one or two patients that start saying, "Fucking shut the fuck up." And I'm saying to the other patient across the, you know, I'm saying to this, you need some earplugs, you know, and then you'll get an easy sleep. Then without, you know, especially when there's other things like monitors bleeping and making sounds, and it's shut that fucking noise off. I got this from. I could hear two patients. I'm on one side, one's over there, and one's over that way, and they were going like, "Shut this fucking noise up!" Oh dear. You know, and I got these. Well, this thing here it sticks in. You know. Anyway, it's not that. It's the here. If I put the roll it. Okay, put it in my ear. stretch it. Sounds like a guitar string. Don, don, like bass. It's only a one note. It's the same similar principle. Sounds weird because I've got one earplug in. Oh, it really does sound weird. Psycho. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, take that out because the balance of the frequency. It's like, oh, it's weird. You got to put both earplugs in, and it equalizes. Yeah, it's just like a. If I hold it there, I hear a different sound frequency when plucking the string. But when it's in the ear, it sounds like a guitar string. Like you got a guitar and you play the string or one note. Dong 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 dong. Ding 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 ding. Depending on the tension on the what's it, and it makes the different notes. Yes, the same principle of to can you hear me? Can you hear me? You just use that, and you just put the earplug in. If I put it near a loudspeaker, I think it will do some sort of sound transmission. Let's see if I play a video on here. I'll put the string near to the little loudspeaker on the laptop. Okay. Put this underneath where the loudspeakers are on this laptop. Stretch the cord. Oh yeah, it works. It works. Don't take my word for it. It's more louder still on this side. It's a little less on this side, and it's only touching the plastic, the cord. It's only touching the plastic near the loudspeaker, where it's underneath the laptop. Yeah, but I can hear a little bit of sound transmission. Okay. I think I did this many years ago, and when I was at the hospital. And this is a piece of fabric cord. The other one that I was using, because I did it at the hospital years ago, was a monofilament, and it was pretty good sound transmitter. I put one earplug in there and put it near. Got these little TVs in the hospital, little flat screen TVs. I put it near the speaker, and then boom, I could hear the sound transmission going through the cord and to the earplug, and yeah. I suppose it depends on the fabric, the material, and yeah. But I do like. I wouldn't mind having. Well, it's not possible to stick. Well, I suppose if there was a few more of these strings attached to this, and arrange it like a guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4 or is it 5 strings? I forget which. And arrange it, and then be able to play it, and then hear it like a guitar in mono kind of thing, because it's going one ear. Unless you do two ears, and then you just pluck them very gently, not too loud, so it's and then just start playing the instruments, and then you hear. Basically, it'd be like silent guitar, but kind of like that. Very strange way to play a guitar, I think. I think if I had a different, because I was going to try and rub a straw. You get little fruit juice drinks in the hospital, little drinks or such. You get a little straw, and I start rubbing. I thought, no, that doesn't sound like the bow on a violin, because it's got to be kind of like this. It's got to be like the top part, and then you got the I forgot what's. It's an animal skin, but it could be something else anyway to make it, so it's not, it's got bacon, otherwise you have the activists, and then play that along, this to sound like a violin, but when holding it and then adjusting the flat, pulling it tight, that's a higher pitch. Pull it a little bit tighter, it's gotten a bit more higher pitched, and then loosen it a little bit. It's got a nice bass rhythm sound on that. Yeah. Hang on, let me see if I put the other ear plug in so I filter out the other sound in the room. Because this would be connected like this. But it came out. That's just a bit of hot glue, I think, really. I think that's just a bit of hot glue. Oh, yeah. You can see it flexing. It's got a nice low frequency, that. And pull it tight. But it's just one note. It's only playing one note. I'll probably get some more of these. I could do that. Get a few more of those. Play around. Might give me some inspiration, idea. A new angle. Yeah, perhaps. Got bundles of that. I got bundles of these type. Bloody hell! Got bundles or bundles. Oh, there's those other earplugs there. Has that got the monofilament, or is it the... Let's have a look, have a look. I think those have got the monofilament. I think they got the kind of monofilament cord. Whoa, £49. Oh, right. You get 200 pairs of them. Okay, £250 for 200. I'm not buying that, crying out. But I don't think they sell them singly. Whew, wee. There's a lot of them. No, I don't think they sell them single. So I don't know what I'm going to do with 200 pairs of those, really. Yeah, the hospital should have made note sometimes to patients. You know, there are other patients here. You may not get a good night's sleep or anything like that. So we got earplugs here. You know. Earplugs and bass sound rhythms, fluctuating vibrations. Just looking around the room. Just thinking. Video screen wall. I mean, I don't know why everybody wants high luminance and such. I think the medication is... let's see how I look. I'll just put my hands out. I've still got trembling in my left hand, left side here, but my left side's still trembling. I don't know why. Probably the AF, probably the heart AF. It's probably most likely heart AF. It's why it's causing this trembling still. I don't know. Mr. Spock, what are you up to? Wow. Mind-boggling that. Wow. Oh gosh. Oh, full of ideas. Crikey, there's so many types of. Crikey. Oh dear. I wouldn't even know what to start Googling. So many other advanced things that have been going on that are probably flying underneath my radar screen. So many. Oh. Oh, this like something like this. Look at this. You know, a lot of below surround going on. There's a lot of below surround. It's all over the show, all over all that static electric, all that big, all moving around and moving back and forth and side to side and diagonal, round around, inside out and back to front and turned around. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Oh, that's it. More on this random later on. Wow, I can't stay up anymore. The medication, I'll go. Anyway, we gone. And keep on listening to Below Surround.